All right, guys, so we just finished testing out the ZEV iBox springs from our older chassis on the new chassis with the active dampers. Produced some great results, way better than I expected. We did the spacer conversion for the warps to flush them out, so we've got those on the website. Both of these things are on the website. We'll put links in the description below. So we are taking the warp wheels off. We're getting back to regular programming and get this thing on the track. We pulled the iBox springs off, the ZEV springs. We are now going back to the factory springs. We actually are going to put the 18x9 brushed titanium forged AF10s back on this car with the two 45/45 18s because we are heading to Sonoma Drags, Wednesday night drags tomorrow. Not sure when this thing's gonna go live, but we're going tomorrow, and then in 2 more days, we're gonna go to Laguna Seca. So we got a lot of work to do this week. We're gonna drag race it, see how it does on these lightweight AF10s with these 245s. Then we're gonna go in and put some AF10s on it with some 265/40 18s for Laguna Seca in a couple of days. We've already upgraded the brakes, so we've put 2-piece rotors on it from Tim's old car. We've put his track pads on the car, and now we are finally getting these newly released Aspira stainless steel brake lines that are made for them by Goodrich. So we're gonna get these on the car. We're gonna get some Endless RF650 brake fluid on the car. Brake fluid, this stuff. This is the good stuff. So this, stainless steel brake lines, lightweight forged 18-inch wheels with some 245s, and let's see this thing rip. Let's go. All right, guys, so Tim made it back from Sonoma Drags and gave me a report on what happened. So it was our first time out there drag racing and Tim's first time trying to film drag racing. So we wanted to give a big shout out and a thanks to our friend Craig, who went ahead and piloted the vehicle so that Tim could try and get some footage. It was a very, very busy night from what I understand, so it was a little bit difficult to get good film of each of Tim's 3 runs. So he was only to get about 1 run per hour because of how many people were there. So we will plan on going back out next time. We were hoping that we would have our 18-inch wheels and Tim's factory 20-inch wheels on site for us to swap between and chart the different times. That was what we were really hoping to do. But unfortunately, Tim got a nail in one of his 20-inch warp wheels, and we were not able to use those wheels. So we will go back out there. We will get his tires fixed, and we will do a comparison. We'll take 2 runs and run the 18s and the 20s and see how they fare against each other. So now, what I can tell you is that if you are going to drag race your Model 3, you should precondition the battery. So just set it to navigate to the nearest supercharger so it will start heating up the battery pack. That should be helpful to you with your times. It's a little bit tricky of a situation because you don't want your drive unit to get hot, but you do want your battery to get hot, and they kind of go hand in hand when you're preconditioning. Needless to say, you should precondition your battery because that will help you. And I will share with you a couple of other notes. So Tim did do 3 runs. We shared with you his fastest run, but he did run a 10.95 on his first run, a 10.94 on his second run, and a 10.96 on his third run. Now he did do 3 different settings for his suspension, let's say, or 3 different setups. They were all in insane mode. The very first run he did in standard mode for his suspension. The second one was in sports. And the third one he did in sports, but he did slip start. So that ironically ended up being his slowest run. Now what he did tell me is that for each pass that they did, they lost about 1% of SOC. You will want your vehicle to have the highest percentage of SOC possible. And you definitely probably don't want to run below 70% SOC because the car will basically throttle back. You'll lose some power there. There was another gentleman there, so another shout out to Vince and Daniel. Daniel has his own YouTube channel. It is called Jet Fuel. So they've done a cool video with Vince's factory 2024 Model 3 performance at the track. So it was Vince's Model 3 versus Daniel's GT4 actually. No real contest, and they do mention that, but it was a very cool video, and it is quite informative, and they got some really great footage there, something that we can aspire to do next time that we go out there. And I didn't end up attending at this event, so that didn't help out either. So hopefully when I go out next time, our buddy Craig can get out there who does race in NHRA. He can pilot this vehicle again for us, and then Tim and I can both tag team collecting footage for you guys. So we will share a link to Daniel's channel over here and in the description below so that you guys can watch his video. Vince in his factory 2024 Model 3 performance with the 20-inch wheels and the factory Pirelli tires did run an 11.091. That was his fastest time on the 20s, but they did not precondition their battery. They were not aware of doing that. They are now, so I'm sure that they'll go back out there again, but we'll share a link to Daniel's channel, Jet Fuel, in the description below. And you know, I don't really have a ton more to share with you guys on this one because we did have such a limited time, and it was our first, our first attempt at drag racing, as well as trying to capture footage at an event like that just had so many people. But what I can tell you is that our other friend, Travis, who has an amazing channel called Learning Fast, we'll also share a link to his channel in the description below. He is as passionate about drag racing as we are about road racing, and he will super nerd out with you guys on so many details. He's done everything on the older Model 3 performance platform. He does have a new one now. He actually ran a 10.75, I believe, in his new Model 3 performance, also with 18-inch wheels. So if you guys want to get really in-depth and understand exactly what's happening in the car and whatnot, he literally pulls data from the CAN bus. He overlays a ton of data. So if you're that type of a person that wants to see all of the details and all of the data, please check out his channel. He will be able to share with you a ton of information. So guys, we really wish we could have gotten more footage of this event for you, but it was a learning experience for us. We do appreciate you guys watching the channel and supporting us. Don't forget to check out our next video, which is Tim taking the Model 3 Performance to Laguna Seca, not once, but twice, on 2 different sets of wheels, with 2 different types of tires. So check that out. He pulled some pretty cool times with that. But again, we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notifications bell so you are notified of all our future videos. If you haven't checked out our Patreon account, please do so. It's patreon.com/ZevCentric. And do not forget to support us mostly by buying your products from our website, ZevCentric.com. We thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.